This is Dread Central's weekly wrap-up, and I'm your host, Mike Phalin.
Gameplay footage for the Kickstarter-funded slasher game Last Year is finally out. Last Year is a 5 vs 1 multiplayer game where 5 people play as the classic high school students trying to get away from the killer. You'll need to work together for searching for resources and crafting weapons if you expect to survive. The CW is taking a risk, thankfully, by moving away from superheroes and focusing on a supernatural crime drama called Criminal Magic. The hour-long show will be brought to us by iZombie alums. That's right, horror fiends. With the introduction of the community groups on Xbox Live, we figured it would be the perfect time for us to throw our hats into the ring and launch the first horror community entitled, what else? The Dread Central Horror Community. We're still washing the bad taste that Pixels left in our mouths, just in time for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to oil up against more video game beasties. The Midway classic Rampage will be assaulting theaters on April 20th, 2018. Robert Eggers, the director of The Witch, recently spoke about his upcoming remake of the iconic vampire film Nosferatu. He said that Nosferatu has a very close magical connection for him, but I think someone we know isn't going to take too kindly to this. Let's see what Lisa has to say. It's out today. Vorese Sarabande has let loose the Box of Horrors soundtrack box set. This limited edition beauty comes packed with some of the most hard-to-find scores. They include Deadly Fiend, Dracula 2000, The Fly, The Hidden, Maniac, The Mephisto Waltz/The Other, Mimic, the Deluxe Edition, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Pumpkinhead, Scream Deluxe Edition, The Serpent and the Rainbow, and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The life expectancy of the zombie subgenre is reaching its peak for some of us, and some fresh blood is needed if it's to become more tolerable than just in parody form. That's where The Black Crusade comes in. This zombie flick is set during the Middle Ages and looks to combine the best of the genre with a much-needed change in setting. Check out the trailer at dreadcentral.com. Oh, Manos, why have you taken the master from us? Tom Naiman, the man who had become a cult classic icon, has passed from this earth to join Torgo in the great beyond. After a few action titles have been released for the popular anime and manga series, Attack on Titan is actually going the survival route on the 3DS with a title called Escape from the Brink of Death. A trailer found hints at kind of an Outlast-inspired gameplay, though there's not a whole lot on there, and I'm pretty sure it's not really gameplay footage. A Japanese release date is set for March 30th, but there's no word for a UK or American one. Okay, so the first DC-rated animated feature was kind of a letdown, but this time, I'm sure they're going to get it right. And judging by the trailer, fuck yes. Justice League Dark focuses on the paranormal side of the DC universe that we don't get to see too often in animated form, or in live-action form for that matter. Check out the trailer at dreadcentral.com. Remakes are a theme this week, and I know how Lisa feels about those. I, however, am going to give Kong Skull Island a thumbs up because the official trailer is goddamn amazing. This is a giant monster movie with an Apocalypse Now feel. Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers is one of the last great action sci-fi films of the 90s. It had just the right mix of bravado and angst. You know, the 90s before all science fiction became all dark and brooding. As you can imagine, Verhoeven isn't too thrilled about the upcoming remake of his film. And speaking with Arrow in the Head, Verhoeven had this to say: "The remakes that I've seen of RoboCop and Total Recall are the same thing. Very ambiguity out. All layers out. And PG-13. Just straight bang bang shoot shoot. They were well made, but they were not worth doing." The Neil Marshall-directed remake of Andre Overdahl's Troll Hunter is dead. Birth Movies Death spoke with Overdahl about the limbo that the remake had been stuck in, and he had this to say: "I was very happy with what I read. I never communicated with anybody about it, but I read online that Neil Marshall was attached to direct it, and I was like, okay, I can get behind that. And then suddenly it didn't happen. I believe that just after signing up for the Troll Hunter, Neil got too busy with Game of Thrones, and that's why it was stopped. That seems to be the case anyway, and then it all kind of died."
That was really awkward.
Thanks for watching the weekly wrap-up. You can catch up with us on dreadcentral.com, at Syxx Sense, at Dread Central, at Uncle Creepy if you want to talk to him for some reason. I don't know why you would.